Hi, Assalamualaikum, and good morning to Dr. Liana. My name is Nurul Nafisha binti Basri. My metric number is 203298. So today I will be presenting about the analysis of a test paper that I have made for the timer 1. So before we get into the analysis, I will explain about the background of the test paper. This is a record of an evaluation of a diagnostic English test for Form 4 students in Sekolah Menengah Kebahasaan Muhammad Abdullah, Melaka. This test paper consists of 8 multiple choice questions, 24 fill-in-the-blanks questions, 8 questions based on the passage, and 1 essay. For this test paper, the analysis will be done based on the 4 principles of language assessment, which are validity, practicality, authenticity, and washback. So the table of content, I will start off with validity, and then practicality, authenticity, and end with a washback. So validity. We have face validity, content validity, criterion, construct, and consequential validity. Face validity. According to Mosley in 2002, face validity is the degree to which a test looks like and appears to measure the knowledge or abilities. It claims to measure based on the subjective judgment of the examiners who take it, the administrative personnel who decide on its use, and other psychometrically unsophisticated observer. This test paper is lacking in best validity. The front page of the standard format of an examination usually consists of a logo of examination syndicates, the name and code of the subject, which is Bahasa Inggeris, the month which it is held, the instruction before answering test, the numbers of questions on paper, and number of questions that need to be answered. So there is no logo of examination. Also no month which is being held, no instruction before answering the test, and there is no number of questions on paper and number of questions that need to be answered. The only things that have is the name and code of the subject. That is why we can say that this paper is lacking in best validity. For test item 8, the word not eligible should be bolded in order to make sure that students can recognize and assure that they need to look out for the exceptional answer. Students may not realize that what is the real intended question as they were answering the test paper. It showed that this item was lacking in the term of face validity by not bolding the keyword as it might confuse the students when answering the test. Content validity refers to a test that actually samples the subject matter about which conclusions are to be drawn, and it requires the test taker to perform the behavior that is being measured. The test item must reflect all the course objectives by Kementerian Pelajaran Malaysia as SMKM Muhammad Abdullah is a government school. According to KPM in 2003, Form 4 students should be able to make conversation and talk on various topics with friends, with people whom they meet for the first time, interact with people and develop skills in forming and maintaining friendship by expressing care and concern, willingness to help, creating a sense of togetherness. Number 3, give feedback on products and services and respond appropriately to feedback given. 4, obtain information from various sources, including factual material, and present the information clearly according to others, both orally and in writing. Number 5, read and respond to poems and stories. Number 6, have a positive outlook and act appropriately in social situations. Number 7, show an awareness and appreciation of moral values and love towards the nation. From the 7 items that was given by KPM, it can be said that this test paper has a quite strong content validity, but number 1 and number 2 cannot be tested as it requires you to have a conversation in English. It is not suitable as this test is a written test and not an oral test. Other than that, number 5 also cannot be tested as there are no poems or stories in the test paper that needed students to respond to. Other than that, all of them are in the test paper. So it can be said that it has a strong content validity. For example, section C, item 19 to 26 in this test paper covered the course objective of number 3 and number 4, where students obtain information about the products and services in Indian restaurants, and they need to give a feedback about the services and the product. Meanwhile, for number 6 has been tested, as in section E, item 33 to 34 consists of a reading about truancy, which is beneficial for the students. For number 7, in section A, question 5, there is a question about appreciating the different culture in Malaysia, which can raise the awareness among students. Next is criterion validity. Criterion validity represents the criterion that is intended to be measured in the test. It often emphasizes on the relationship between the test score and outcome. Criterion validity can be divided into 2 groups, which are concurrent validity and predictive validity. The Diagnostic English Test 1 2020 for Form 4 students in SMK Muchapua has an average of predictive validity. The test is only testing students' reading and writing skills. Students who have reading and writing skills are usually good in listening and speaking skills, as they can understand the context and has wide vocabularies. According to text, Hogan and Adloff in 2005, once the students can decode the text, their comprehension is dependent on understanding language. It is difficult to predict students' possible future success, as listening and speaking skills might vary on every student. Next is construct validity. It is a concept or theories which are underlying the usage of certain ability, especially in language ability. The result represents the same construct with the ability of the student which is being measured. According to KPM, Form 4 students should master the basic grammar such as noun, pronoun, verb, adjective, adverb, and the others. This test has high construct validity as the basic concept of grammar has been tested. Section B, item 9 to 18, and section D, item 27 to 32 are related to construct validity, where students were tested on basic concepts of grammar. Next is consequential validity. It encompasses all the consequences of a test, including such considerations as its accuracy in measuring intended criteria, its impact on the preparation of test takers, its effect on the learner, and the social consequences of the test interpretation and use. This test paper has a consequential validity, as section E, item 33 to 40, consists of a reading about truancy among students in school. The passage and the test items deliver important messages to the test taker which do not involve truancy, especially for students. The test item asks about factors, effects, and bad habits in doing truancy. This will make them realize that truancy is not good and they will avoid it in the future. Communities such as teachers, parents, and other people will indirectly affect it too. Therefore, it is affecting society as a whole to help raise awareness regarding truancy among students. This is the section E where it talks about truancy. Next is practicality. Consists of cost, time, administration, and evaluation or scoring. The first one is cost. A test should not be too expensive to conduct. Usually, the implementation cost of examination has 3 important things, which are question paper, answer sheet, and 2 defense cells. The test paper did not use OMR paper, as the objective questions are quite few, which are only 8 items only. Student needs to answer in the test paper itself without using any answer sheet or OMR paper. Budget can stay involved as money on this matter can be saved. As stated in the last page of the test paper, there are 10 pages in the test paper. Assuming that the cost of printed page is 10 cents each, approximately one test paper would cost 2 ringgit only. A class of student 44 on average consists of 30 students. Therefore, it is estimated that the total price to produce question paper is 30 ringgit only. As this paper is only between in school, the teachers do not prepare 2B pencils for students. The students will usually use their own stationery to answer the test. As there is no cost for answer sheet and two answer sheet and 2B pencil, it can be said that this test is very practical because it is cost effective for a test on school level. Next is time. A good test must be time efficient. The time located is 2 hours. There are 8 multiple choice questions, 24 fill in the blanks question, 8 questions based on the passages, and 1 essay. Students is required to spend 30 minutes on essay question, which means that there is 1 hour and 30 minutes left to answer the other 40 questions. In estimate, each question consists of 2 minutes and 25 seconds to answer, which is quite long. However, there were questions that need students to read the passages and tables, and there were only 8 objective questions. If students are able to manage their time answering the test items, 2 hours of time allocated seems to be practical for this test. Next is administration. A classroom or an exam hall, a teacher or a test instructor, and the students or test takers are needed to administer the diagnostic English test. As this test is administered on school level, students will probably be answering the test item in their classroom and having their teacher as a test instructor. This is very practical as no venue is needed to be looked out for, as well as having no problem in hiring a test instructor. For the test paper, only one person was in charge in designing it. After it is done, an experienced teacher checked thoroughly. It is practical as not many persons were needed to complete the test item, and it can avoid too many complicated things in designing it. Scoring or evaluation. Each of the 40 of the test items, which are from section A until section E, provided 1 mark for each test item, which is reasonable, as the test item were in simple form of questions. For the section F, which is essay, 20 marks is provided. Writing skills need to be provided many marks because there are marks for the format of essay, basic of grammars, content, and elaboration marks. It will be easier for teachers to evaluate the 40 items as the answer is static and quite straightforward. It is estimated that in each of class consists of 30 students, so each of the English teacher of the class can evaluate the students, which seems fine for the teachers to focus on the essay part. Overall, the test is practical as the scoring and evaluation of the test fit perfectly for the school level. Next is authenticity. It is referring to the degree of correspondence of the characteristic of a given language text task to the feature of a target language task. In test item 1, the advertisement seems to be lack of authenticity as there is no such advertisement can be seen in the real world. There is no correlation between joining college and taking a vehicle license. This advertisement was created only for the test item to make students understand the context of it. Next, advertisement for test item 19 to 26. At the bottom right of the advertisement, It was stated that this advertisement was taken from News Straight Times on 3rd March 2011. However, when I am doing a research, there is no result found for the advertisement in NST official websites as attached below. This shows that this test item was used only for the exam, which lacked in authenticity. The advertisement for the test item 90 to 26 is about top Indian restaurant in Pulau Mutiara. This is the advertisement. But when I search in NSP official website, I cannot find it. Next, the test item for question 41 also seems to be lack of authenticity. This is because students were required to write an informal letter to their friends. The test item did not offer tasks that replicate real-world tasks, as nowadays, people do not really write a letter for their friends. Instead, people tend to message their friends using mobile phone, which is more convenient and fast. Therefore, this test item is not authenticity, as it is not something that exists in real life and it was constructed by the writer itself. Next is washback. Washback is known among language testing specialists, the effect of testing on teaching and learning. Generally, it refers to the effects the tests have on instruction in terms of how students prepare for the test. The influence itself can be positive or negative. This test paper can be said to have a positive washback. After diagnostic, the English test paper is being marked by teachers. The teachers will distribute the test paper to the class and will discuss it together. This is to make sure that students know their mistake and will not repeat them in the test in the future. This will also give students chances to argue why their answers cannot be accepted. Indirectly, the speaking and listening skills will be included in the discussion. The students need to listen carefully about why and what is wrong with their answers. Teachers who are giving their students chances to discuss about the choice or justification of their answer will automatically develop speaking skills. Therefore, this test paper includes a positive washback as teachers and students have a positive attitude towards the examination of tests and work willingly and collaboratively towards its objective. So that's all for me. Thank you.